They entered my brother's apartment through doors he didn't come out through because my brother fell and he got hurt in front of the building. So my brother used to come out through the back of the building. So they broke one door, how they got keys to the other? That's what I want to know. I want answers. You know, I'm sick. Right now, they're filtering my blood. I have lupus and multiple sclerosis, and I have heart problems. I'm carrying with the monitor. I'm not even supposed to be out here. You know? So I want justice, and I demand justice, and I want to see arrest. I want to see all of them arrested. The same way they chased my brother. I want to hear the sound of the click on all those police officers that were in my brother's apartment, you know, for no reason. You know, my brother was alone talking on the telephone. I want answers. I want video footage because they have them. I want to see the whole video footage. I demand it. I demand justice. You know, those police officers shouldn't be working right now. You know?
They should be in jail.
Exactly. They should be in jail. You know? They didn't have no reason to detain my brother. You know? No tenant should have been entering my brother's apartment with no police officers. One door was broken, the other one was locked. So, you know, I want this to be investigated thoroughly. That's all I demand. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Justice for Ariel Galarza.
Justice for Ariel Galarza.
Justice for Ariel Galarza.
Justice for Ariel Galarza.
One more time, justice for Ariel Galarza.
Justice for Ariel Galarza.
Thank you. Thank you, Mildred. Thank you. It's just crazy to think that they will take a family member from you and all the things that these families have to go through to get justice, all of the roadblocks that they set up through this system, this injustice system, to stop the truth from coming out. But these families, they're hyped up and they ain't taking it no more. So I'm gonna introduce the next speaker, who doesn't need no introduction from me. She's one of the toughest working family members out here I've seen in my life. So give it up for Angie Kears.
Thank you, Johnny. Hello, everyone. My name is Angelique Negroni Kears. I am the wife of Andrew Kears, who was killed on May 11, 2017. My husband begged for his life over 70 times within 17 minutes and died in the back of a police car. He said, I can't breathe. He said, I'm feeling numb. And he said, I feel like throwing up. All the while Officer Mark Weeks thought he was lying. He was like a serial killer with no empathy. And you have this man on the job? Alright. I want you guys to understand that they just don't kill our loved ones. You know, we go through PTSD. We go through depression. We go through anxiety. And they go through nothing. There's a win for George Floyd, but there should be a win for us all.
That's right.
If you're screaming only George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and you don't know the names are in your state, then you guys got a problem. Because there's a lot of us, and we want justice. You need to start speaking our names, because that's what we want. We want justice. We demand that you open up all the cases. We demand that you prosecute the officers, and we demand that you jail all killer cops. 4 years I've been fighting for my husband. 4 long, hard years. Okay? And finally, in June, I got his law passed, which is called the Andrew Kears Act. And that states that if anybody has any kind of medical distress or any mental illness, that they will be held accountable and get a civil law. That's a big win. Thank you. Also, last June, they put it into the Senate. It got to the floor twice. And now, this past May 11th, they reintroduced his law into the Senate. So that if Andrew had to die in that manner to save just one, then he didn't die in vain, and that was his purpose. So I need this law to pass. I need the officers to be prosecuted, and we need them to be jailed, because that's what we want. We want justice. We want all these fake ass activists to step behind us, because we can speak for ourselves. Stop making money off our loved ones and our blood, because it's not right. I see so many of our survivors crying for help and asking for help, and all they want is just justice for our loved ones, and we can't get it. While these officers just stay on the job, living their lives like nothing. Is that fair to us? No. So you should be behind with each and every one of our families and help seek justice for us, because that's what we want. We want them to be heard. They need to be heard. They need to get their angel wings. Thank you. And justice for Andrew Kears.
Justice for Andrew Kears!
Justice for Andrew Kears.
Justice for Andrew Kears!
One more time.
Justice for Andrew Kears.
Justice for Andrew Kears!
Thank you.
Congress passed the Andrew Kears Act to make New York's law the law of the United States of America.
Yeah, bro. So next, we have Derek, who's been organizing with some local unions. DK.
Yeah. Sorry, you guys are going to get to know me as the guy with all the sheets of paper. All right, but again, I want to thank you all so much for giving me this opportunity to speak today. I am here right now, again, for the steering committee with Mass Action Against Police Brutality. In fact, each one of us is here today. That we all come from different backgrounds, from different experiences, and different ideologies. And yet, we all come here to stand in solidarity with family members who have lost their loved ones to killer cops, and for the survivors of police brutality. While the conviction of Derek Chauvin for the murder of George Floyd was a start, it is just one of many cases. Troy Hodge, Daniel Prue, Malcolm Ferguson, Andrew Kears, Muhammad Ba, and so many more have been murdered by a system who doesn't give a shit about people of color, about people who are part of working families, about you, about me. They don't give a fuck. We are here today to demand justice for all, that the United States judicial system reopens all cases of police brutality and prosecutes the police. For too long, the police have been the attack dogs of the rich and powerful, serving a system that has been constructed to keep black people in chains, to keep working people poor, and to keep those in power powerful and the rich rich. The first police department in the United States was founded right here in New York City in 1844. And right from the start, they were established as a militant command force whose job was to protect property, not people. To keep minority communities down, not help them up. To keep us divided so that they do not want us to unite against them. In 2019, New York taxpayers funded nearly $70 million over NYPD misconduct and brutality. And yet, we can't get decent subsidized health care, where victims of police brutality are getting beaten to near death, having to go into medical debt bondage to pay their bills for the injuries that the police inflicted. $5.2 billion of NYPD's budget is funded by our tax dollars, by working families like you and me. The wages of our labor, the money for our community, is being stolen for us to pay the police to kill us, to oppress us, to destroy families and end lives, all on your dime. Now, I know what you're all thinking. These costs, these injustices, these racist and classist systems that perpetually rot our city, our nation to its very core, that we need to take back what's ours and defund the police. while this is not something that I'm necessarily against, that's not why we're standing here today. Before any utopic ideas can be established, like defund and the eventual abolish, we need to first set a precedent of justice to make sure that when doing something like defund or abolish does come to fruition, it is not replaced with just another institution with the same old policies of racism and violence. When the INS was disbanded in 2003, what happened? We ended up with ICE. When slavery was abolished, the slave catchers were then reorganized as the police. Without setting a precedent for justice, we will run the risk of just having these rotten policies and police forces continue to be enforced under an agency of a new name. This is why so many major media corporations run so many articles to defund or abolish, because the shareholders know this exact reality. But when you bring up prosecution of the police and accountability, all of a sudden the presses are stopped and fear looms over those in institutional power. Because they know that prosecution will set a precedent, and that precedent will bring about actual applicable change. This is why Mass Action Against Police Brutality is organizing family members and survivors of police brutality to set this precedent of justice. Their precedent of justice. We are assisting family members to push their demands to reopen all cases of police brutality and cover-up and to prosecute the police. Our legal system was designed around turning precedent into law. It is time that we set precedent so that this quote-unquote law enforcement establishments like the NYPD have the law enforced on them, so that we can no longer hide behind qualified immunity or the organized crime consortium that they dare to call a police union. With our legal precedent set by reopening the cases, followed by prosecution of the police, we will hold them accountable, and we will make systematic change within this country. So let us stand in solidarity with family members like Hawa Ba, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, but is presenting Muhammad Ba's case later this week and needs our support. With Ariel Gonzalez's case, Ariel Galarza's case is on June 21st in the Bronx and needs our support. With Juanita Young, who has been fighting this fight for 20 years so that mothers don't have to suffer the tragedy of burying their own children. With Angie Kears, who fights so hard to make it so that future children don't have to hear how their father died in the back of a police car, begging for their lives, while the cops are laughing and mocking their cries. With 200 plus families that have joined Mass Action Against Police Brutality to get justice, to set precedent, and to jail killer cops by prosecuting the police. And now when I say no justice, you say no peace. No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
Prosecute the police! I said no justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
Prosecute the police! I said no justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace! Prosecute the police!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now, when I say what do you want, you say justice. When I ask it when do we want it, you say now. What do you want?
Justice!
When do you want it?
Now!
What do you want?
Justice!
When do you want it?
Now!
If we don't get it!
Shut it down!
If we don't get it!
Shut it down!
If we don't get it!
Shut it down!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
If we don't get it!
Shut it down!
If we don't get it!
Shut it down!
If we don't get it!
Shut it down!
Woo!
Officer, I'm glad you find this so amusing. We see you laughing and giggling like a schoolgirl over there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Fuck 12!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Fuck 12!
That's how I feel.
No good cops in a racist system.
No good cops in a racist system!
system. Cops in the racist system.
No good cops in a racist system.
No good cops in the racist system.
No good cops in a racist system.
No good cops in the racist system.
Joy, you're talking about dead people right here.
That's why the only good cop is a dead
That's
cop.
fun to you? And we had to call press so people get justice? That's fun to you? You do that on our money, on our taxes. Shame on you!
Shame! 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 Shame!
Shame! Shame! Shame! Shame!
Fuck the police!
Fuck the police!
Fuck the police!
Fuck the police!
Fuck the police! Fuck the police! Fuck the police! I got one. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. If Ariel don't get it, shut it down. If Ariel don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. If Andrew don't get it, shut it down. If Andrew don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. And if we don't get it, shut it down.
How is that okay that you're laughing on our money? Killing our people, how is that okay? Yeah, nod, that's all you need to do.
A sociopath right there. Someone who laughs at pain. Someone who laughs at the grief of people grieving for their murdered loved ones. That is a sociopath. He probably hasn't worn a mask all year long.
God, then there's karma, bitch. There's karma, bitch. All right. They feel the power. Shame. How you laughing?
He can't do nothing to us.
Laughing. We talk about dead people and he's laughing. People that were killed by people like him. He is laughing. Film him. Please make him famous. Make that guy famous. Make him famous, not me. Take pictures of him. Film him. Make him make that motherfucker.
He's embarrassing you.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
So next we're gonna bring up the nephew of John Collado,
Yeah, that's the speech.
Joshua Lopez. This man been going home for so long, and you can understand the passion that's out here because they out here killing our family members. They killing our babies. They killing our aunties. They killing us. So we're gonna let Josh speak to it.
Thank you. Before I say anything, I just want us to remember George Floyd. Today is George Floyd's 1-year anniversary. And I also want us to remember all the victims of police brutality. And I honor every single victim. I couldn't say everybody on my back, but I fit as many as I can, and I honor victims. We honor them. This is who we fight for. We stand for our people, man. You know what? My uncle was trying to break up a fight, John Collado, 10 years ago. And he lost his life when an undercover police officer never identified himself and pulled out his gun and murdered my uncle. And I tell you this is not an isolated incident. This goes on every day to black and brown people in America. And police get rewarded for it. They get a pass for it. And that's why we out here fighting every single day. Now, I don't want to hear nothing about retraining these officers. I don't want to hear nothing about reform. You know what? That just means more brutality, more terror on black and brown people. We don't need reform. We need to get rid of this whole system. This system is rotten to the core. This system is rotten to the core. There's no such thing as a good cop under this system. police have murdered black and brown people with impunity. There's people like the Central Park 5, innocent, in jail. Mass incarceration. Poor, immigrant kids in jail. You know, this is America with the 3 Ks. We need to fight. And you know what? Our fight is on the street. We cannot wait for another George Floyd. We cannot wait for another Eric Garner to happen. Our fight is in the street. And I thank everybody for being out here. Let's make sure we remember every victim out here. John Collado. John Collado was just trying to break up a fight between his neighbor and an undercover cop. The cop lied, and we found out what really happened through a civil trial. We got the transcripts of what really happened. There's evidence, there's video evidence, there's forensic evidence against this officer, James Connolly. And we come to find out that he had murdered 2 people, not only my uncle. He had murdered somebody before my uncle. And this is the type of police officers that get recognized by the mayor's Bill de Blasio. We got to get rid of these crooked cops. We got to get rid of these murderers. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
And you covered up your face though. Now you're covering up your face because you on your ass. And I can tell you to suck my dick.
That's right. That's right.
Pussy. How about that? Pussy.
I like that.
I don't care. There's something else I want to say. We need more Bibles in society. You know, because we come from good people. So, you know, we need more funding for the mentally ill and for people with illnesses and for a whole lot of other things. Because my blood gets filtered in a cancer, in cancer center. So, you know, we need more help out here. You know, there's a lot of sick people out here. You know, we're not the only ones. You know, they have mental issues too. Thank you.
And that's where our money needs to go, to our communities,
Exactly.
not these terrorists.
Exactly.
We need to help our communities.
Yes.
Defund the police and put that money in our communities.
Yes.
So my name is John Larkins. The police almost killed me. They tasered me in the back of the head 4 times. I was saving my deaf aunt's life. This happened in a hospital. I was sitting in a wheelchair. I had a broken leg. I pled with these police not to tase me. They put the taser directly to my temple. And then, after everything happened, they beat my aunt, dragged her off, put her in 4-point restraints, and gassed her. While they were doing that, they turned me on my back. They're tasering me. First time, 7 seconds. Second time, 7 seconds. Third time, 7 seconds. The last time, man, I was almost gone. Everything was in slow motion. And something told me what to say. And it was so barbaric the way they acted. I said, what are y'all doing to me? I can't feel my legs. You know what these police officers started doing? They started high-fiving each other, saying, yeah, we got him, we got him. So they proceeded to walk me out on a broken leg. I said, I can't walk on a broken leg. He said, you're doing just fine. Puts the handcuffs up further behind my back. I stumble, they grab a handful of my hair, run me to the side of the cop car, and smack my face off the side of the car. Put my teeth through my lip. It felt like a ketchup packet. So then they put me in the back of the cop car, and I see them consoling my little nieces. Consoling them, telling them this is what happens in domestic violence. Couldn't be further from the truth. So I started yelling out the window to them, Risa, Nene, don't say nothing. These some bad cops. These some bad cops. Dominic Kamatau came back up to the car, and I said every syllable, I want a lawyer. He goes to his little Batman belt. They all got him. Goes to his little Batman belt, starts shaking up the mace. And I'm in disbelief. I could put my tongue all the way through my lip and taste the air. I was chewing on pieces of my teeth. I said, you gonna mace me? Y'all just tasing me. You messed my lip up. You gonna mace me? He says, yup, and proceeds to mace me in the eyes. Well, I ain't no dummy. I close my eyes. And then this guy sprays me in my open wound on my lip. That's not even the worst part. Check it. So I'm blind. He comes back in the car and pretends to be a different police officer. He said, whoa, 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 guy, I just got here. Why don't you tell me what happened? So I'm panting. He unrolls the window. I'm panting out the window like a dog, thanking this man that did this to me. This guy drives me to a different hospital just so he can get the story. Once we get into the hospital, they put me in 4-point restraints. The doctor said I need stitches for my lip. I told him, you know, I'm not taking those stitches. You know, people are going to know what Dominic Comatal did to me. So, as they're getting the mace out of my eyes, these people tried to drug me. They tried to hold my head back and put a pill in my mouth. I spit it out, and I was on fire. So we go back, I get in the car again with them, and he's saying, boy, I can do whatever I want to you. You don't understand that? So I just shut up. There wasn't nothing, I had no power, no nothing. So we finally get in there, into the booking, and I asked the police, like he wasn't there. So I asked the police, yo, why am I here for? They said resisting arrest. I said, oh, okay. Well, there's no reason for arrest, so you can let me go, right? All of a sudden, Dominic Comatal comes back in, starts beating his chest. I'm doing this investigation. And I tell you why I don't believe in no good cops. Because I asked every single cop in there. I told them, this is the man that did it to me. Please help me. You know what they did? They packed it up and they left, and they let that man torture me in the Troy Police Department. They let that man torture me. So I actually won that case. They put 4 felonies and 3 misdemeanors on me. They blame the victim, right? Put all them felonies on me. So it took 3 years to even get my name cleared. And then after that, I went to civil court, which, I mean, I can't see how people can argue about going to the court system, because New York federal court is one of the most racist situations I have ever been in my life. And they're educated people, right? Supposedly, no, there's white supremacists. I started looking around and seeing what's on. Yeah, my lawyer, his only job was to try to get me to shake hands with these people, man. So I actually won that case. First time in Troy history cops have ever been charged with excessive force. But no justice was served. I still got a letter from the Department of Justice saying that they weren't going to prosecute him. So this is why we got to keep our boots on the ground. This is why we have to keep on pressuring these bourgeois politicians into actually caving into our demands. And it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. When I learned in the federal court system, we have to define what justice means, right? They're so legalistic about it, man. They're wordsmiths. So what does justice mean? It means holding these murderers accountable for what they did. That also means holding the judges, holding the district attorneys, and anyone else complicit in the cover-ups of these murders, and prosecuting them as well. Prosecuting the DAs as well, because they know what's going on. And I had a conversation with Tamir Rice's mother, and she was saying that the district attorney was the police defense attorney. That's how they act. That's how they act. They're all a part of this racist system.
That's why 90% of cases are plea deals, because they work together. And they tell us if we take it to trial, we will get more and more time. So because we're scared, we're poor, we want to go home to our families, we take plea deals and never get our day in court.
I ain't taking no
plea.
And she ain't taking no plea. I ain't taking no plea. I didn't take the plea, and I won, and they still refused prosecution. So I just want to leave y'all with this. It's important to remember that these families are the moral compass of this fight. This fight has been watered with the blood of their loved ones. So if they're demanding prosecution as an honest supporter, you need to be demanding prosecution. If they're demanding the systematic reopening of all past cases of police brutality, that's what we need to be doing. So I met an honest activist along the way, and I'm going to have him say a few words on the honest activists and what that means to us, the families. Oh, and I forgot to say, while I was fighting my criminal case, they killed my friend Daryl Mount Jr. So say his name.
Daryl Mount Jr.
Say his name.
Daryl Mount Jr.
Say his name.
Daryl Mount Jr.
Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for being here today. I want to start off by saying Black Power, and I want y'all to repeat it after me. Black Power. Black Power. Black Power. Black Power. Black Power. Black Power. I'll start that all over. I'm sorry. Put your fists in the air. I want everybody to put your fists in the air. Yeah. Everybody put your fists in the air. Yeah. Now we're going to do this again. Black Power. Black Power. Black Power. Black Power. Black Power. Black Power. Every hour. Every hour. I have this, you can't. Everybody put your fists in the air. Now we're going to do this again. Black Power. Black Power. Black Power. Black Power. Black Power. Black Power. Every hour. Every hour. I have this, you can't really see it too well because the sun is out, but I have this face-changing mask, right? And, sorry, Mitchell, I didn't know you were going to be here, but it had the faces of John Collado, Andrew Kids, and George Floyd on this mask, right? I love the fact that because of COVID, we are able now to walk around with face that show activism. We have clothing that shows our activism. We can voice ourselves just by literally walking down the street and having people see what's on our face, our expressions. Now the sad part is, it doesn't seem that anything is changing. Angie Kiss, as she said, has been fighting for 4 years for justice for her husband. I've been fighting alongside her from the moment the incident has occurred. Now, what I have found is, after being an activist for over 15 years in this game, fighting for police brutality, gun violence, police violence, street violence, all types of anything you could think of for my people, I've definitely been fighting for. But one thing I have definitely noticed within this fight that's even bigger than the police, that's even bigger than the system of white supremacy, because it goes hand in hand with the white supremacy system. It's these politicians and it's these organizations that side with the white supremacy system. You have these organizations that I witnessed personally firsthand take advantage of this woman right here, Angie Kears, as she's been fighting for justice. If you go on YouTube, you can look at Andrew Kears' dash cam, and it shows Andrew Kears dying in the back of that police van, or that police car. And it shows the negligence of overseers. I do not call them officers. They are overseers. That this institution has always had them as overseers. They are not officers. They are overseers. Overseer Mark Weeks let her husband die in the back of that car as he pleaded for his life. And if you look up, he's only one of maybe 22 people who died at the hands of police who said, "I cannot breathe." It's not just Eric Garner who said, "I can't breathe." It's not just Andrew Kiss who said, "I can't breathe." These are stories and layers of people who have been products of police brutality. Now, my thing is, if you have a dash cam footage of a man dying on camera, we see what Eric Garner footage did, right, in order to get a law passed, right?
Yes.
We see what the dash cam footage, the dash cam footage that Fernando Castile did to show the Fernando Castile case. Why is it that nobody knows of Andrew Kears, and we all live in New York City? Yet, and I'm not trying to take any shine away from it, because today is George Floyd Day. But however, George Floyd does not live in New York City. So, the job of the press, as we have the press here, the job of you guys is to make sure you know what's going on in your city. Instead of following these activists who make the news, instead of following these activists who are on Vice TV, instead of following these activists who are making these TV shows and getting $40,000 to make appearances like Hawk Newsom. You guys are following Black Lives Matter Greater New York, Hawk Newsom, and he took money from this woman right here. So when you have these organizations that you choose to follow, make sure that you guys follow the families. Because if you notice, we have families here. We don't have organizations here. And I think they spoke really great for themselves. Did you guys not think so yourself? Yeah. I think the survivors spoke greatly for themselves. They did not need any activists to speak out for them. They did not need a Reverend Al Sharpton to make everything out for them. They spoke for themselves. And it's the job of the press to make sure that you guys stick with these families. You make sure that you make sure you amplify the voices of these people who are not being heard. Because not everybody's going to get an Al Sharpton. Not everybody's going to get a fake-ass Hawk Newsom. Okay? Not everybody's going to get these big platforms in order to speak. And you know what happens when that happens? These families do not get heard. The story of John Collado should have been heard. The story of Andrew Kiss should have been heard. We're still fighting for justice for Sean Bill, for Tamir Rice, for Amadou Diallo, for Delron Small, for Alvin Louima, who had a plunger stuck in his behind. We're still fighting for justice for the same things. Ramali Graham. So now the question is, we have names and lists of names that we can go down forever. How many times are we going to let these organizations use these names for profit and for blood money? That's the question, and I put that to you guys as the press. Because you guys as the press are the ones, it's your responsibility to put out the news. And so when you guys choose to put these organizations and these activists with these big names on your screens instead of the families who are really going through it, that is you guys dropping the ball. Okay? That's you guys dropping the ball. As an activist for 15 years, most people have not seen my face, and that's the way it's supposed to be. An activist is not supposed to be seen.
Step in the back.
What's your name again?
My name is the president of the Andrew Kiss Foundation.
Woo!
That is my name. That is my name. Other than that, nothing else needs to be said. People will see me. They will always see me around. I don't need to be heard too much. And as I said, these people spoke greatly for themselves. There was no need for me to have to introduce anybody. But at the same time, I'm representing honest activism. Honest activists. And we're calling for more honest activists. Because the families need this. I don't need it. I don't need to be put on MSNBC or CNBC like these activists do. They do. Let their stories be told.
Yes, sir.
Black power.
Yes, sir.
Black power. Black power. Every hour. All power to the people. All power to the people.
You can't stop the revolution.
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 Yeah, go ahead. I just wanted to make that known.
So we're gonna bring up someone who knew Delron Smalls right here, Tanisha.
Hey y'all, I'm not supposed to be speaking today, but when the ancestors speak through me, when Fubu speaks through me, because that's who I knew him as, I'm compelled to speak. And I'm a truth teller. And the one who said you can't stop a revolution, that's my 18-year-old daughter. So let me let you know that I am building generations of liberators. Delron Small was murdered July 4th at 12:03 by Isaac Waynes. They had a bit of an interaction. Isaac Waynes had just got off of work, and as the police do, they feel they can drive as they want, through anybody, over anybody, above anybody. Delron had his 3-month-old son and his girlfriend and his stepdaughter in the car. The police officer just happened to stop at the same place that Delron was going, across the street to his cousin's barbershop. When I tell you that I sat at Isaac Wayne's trial in November of 2017 and had to see my friend for over 20 years, dead, and had to see how Isaac Waynes rolled down his window and shot my friend as he walked across the street 3 times, like you step on a roach, then got out his car, looked at my friend on the ground, and proceeded to call the ambulance for himself. Isaac Waynes is still a police officer. I sat in that courtroom for 3 weeks to hear them say not guilty. As we all watched on video as he killed this black man, this black father, this black brother, this black friend. So, brother, I hear you. There should be more people out here standing with us. You cannot say Black Lives Matter. You cannot say George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and not stand with the families, and not connect with the families, and not know what they're going through. That is performative. Black liberation is not a fad. The killing of black people is not pop culture. These are families.
It's not a trend.
Hurting. Every day it is not a photo op. Most of the work that I do nationally, nobody sees. Because when you do it from the heart, you ain't gotta be in front of the camera. And if you do it for the heart, the camera gonna fucking find you.
Really though.
The only way we win is together. We are having marches today. And I'ma say, Tanisha Grant, right now, I am highly disappointed. I am highly disappointed that it is not filled with people right now, right here, standing with these families. How can we say that we are standing for George Floyd, that we are standing for Breonna Taylor, if we are not standing for our people right here, right now?
Right.
It does not make sense. Get your shit together. I am talking to every organizer out here. Hear me. Do the work. Connect with the families. Just like Johnny was talking about Mama Rice, I speak to Mama Rice constantly. And I didn't have to get on the Grammys to do it.
Yup, talk about it.
Connect with the people you are saying you want justice for. Woo! Don't wait until it's you or yours. Don't be out here being performative. Everyone that's going to be at these marches today should be here right now.
Talk it right now.
And I'm going to call you out.
Said that shit. Say it again.
I'm going to call you out.
You hear it? Say it again, sister.
Because I do the work. And I did not just start this since last May.
Thank you, baby.
There have been many people that have lost their lives to police brutality before George Floyd.
Yup.
Many people. So we stand for all of them or none of them. We don't do it for some. We do it for all.
Woo! For all.
So the next time
Preach, mommy, preach.
that mass action calls a rally and y'all not out here, y'all gonna have to deal with me. Because right now from here, I'm gonna go to another march and I'm gonna say the same fucking thing.
You gotta deal with my mama, then you gotta deal with me.
We do not win like this. We do not win being performative. We do not
Alrighty. Thank you so much for those powerful and important words. Something that needs to be said and needs to be heard. And it's right now too. Not only is this an issue that's happening in our city, in our communities, hell, in our state, hell, even in our nation. Police brutality is an issue that has been plaguing the people of this world. It's my pleasure to announce for our next speaker coming up, who's worked with me during the GSOC strike over the last month, where we finally won a contract to protect our international workers and to protect our workers of color, to try to get cops off of campus and to get NYPD out of NYU. I would like to introduce my friend Nadish, who would have a couple of words to say about police brutality happening internationally. Yes, give it.
I gotta go curse at other people now, but call me. Make sure you hit me up. I'm going to Candle. Make sure you hit me up. We got some shit to do together. Because I'm definitely, I ain't with this shit. I'm tired. I'm fucking tired.
Yeah, we go.
All right, thank you.
So you guys, Abby, Saturday, you got a restaurant.
Okay.
So I'm here with my union comrades and student comrades, just because I was asked to say a few words of international solidarity, and I stand with these families and survivors that are fighting, that have been fighting for so long here and in France, because being from France, that is behind all the cliches, in a very bad place too. Families have been for so long fighting for their children, their siblings, their parents killed by the police. Not only by the police, but also by the courts, who chooses to arrest families who openly tell the names of the murderers. Also killed by the news, held by rich people close to the government, who would not offer transparent information. Killed by the government, more fascist than ever, who openly not only stand by the police, but also commend the murders, hiring more officers, putting money in new war weapons to use them in our suburbs, in our demonstrations, shaming dead and injured people, and putting all the families and allies in jail for prosecuting the police. And they have been killing people like that forever. The families are filing complaints, mediatizing the facts. They are doing this amazing and long-term job, asking for justice for years and years. And police still shoot at people with explosives, beat them up, and hide all of it, kill people on their balcony during demonstrations, hide the causes of the death, push the folks in the river, kill people who occupy lands to protect the lands, and then drop bombs on all the people. So rape, murder, and abuse in the atmosphere of fascism like this. People have been losing their eyes, their hands, they all got injured, and are trying to prosecute. So just to say that while the government is trying to prevent the people from filming officers, when the government is actually filing complaints against the families and the people who openly question the relevance of police power, we stand here in solidarity with all these families. And this is a global fight. And you've been inspiring all the fights across the ocean.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Woo! Thank you very much. As we can see right here, this fight to support the families, to hear the families' demands and to reopen cases and to prosecute the police. It's not just local, it is global. It is a global revolution that is